Hey everyone, 𝐦𝐚𝐫𝐤𝐐𝐭 here. So excited. 𝐦𝐚𝐫𝐤𝐾 Show episode number 210. The much anticipated July stats are in, and as usual, I got your numbers and your stats as they pertain to the detached and townhome markets for both Toronto and pockets of the GTA. So let's get right into the numbers. So back in June 2022, the average detached property in Toronto was trading just over $1.74 million. Fast forward into July, the average detached property has dropped to now trading just over $1.52 million. In Richmond Hill, the average detached property in June was trading on 1.67. Fast forward into July, is now trading at $1.96 million. In Markham, we went from 1.76 for an average detached property in June down to $1.71 million in July 2022. In Vaughan, we went from $1.75 million for the average detached property in June down to $1.7 million. Now, supply and demand, this is all about months of inventory, right? Seeing how many new homes come to the market versus the ones that are selling and the ones that are currently still available for buyers. So for the average detached property in Toronto, we were hovering around 2.2 months of inventory in June. Fast forward in July, it shot all the way up to 3.2. And don't forget, a balanced market is when we start to head close to 4 to 5 months of inventory. Richmond Hill, we went from 3.5 to 3.8 June to July for detached properties. In Markham, we went from 2.1 up to 2.8. In Vaughan, we went from 3.3 to 3.9. So very, very close to that 4 months of inventory, starting to creep into a balanced market. Now the townhome market. So the average townhome property in Toronto back in June 2022 was trading at $1.28 million. Fast forward in July, is now trading $1.22 million. Richmond Hill, we went from 1.19 million up to 1.22 for an average townhome property June to July. In Markham, we went from 1.18 million down slightly to 1.16 million. And then in Vaughan, we went from 1.13 million for an average townhome property in June down to 1.08 million into July. Now, months of inventory, this is all about supply and demand. For townhome properties in Toronto in June, we were hovering on 2.1 months of inventory. Fast forward in July, we shoot up just a little bit to 2.3. In Richmond Hill, this is an interesting statistic. We went from 2.7 in June down to 2.2 into July. So this is going to be a really interesting stat to pay attention to as we head into September and October near the end of the year. In Markham, we went from 1.9 months of inventory down to 1.7 months of inventory for an average townhome property of Markham. So still very much a strong seller's market. And then in Vaughan, we went from 2.2 up to 2.9 months of inventory for an average townhome property June to July. Now, year over year price changes. This is what's really, really important to pay attention to. That average detached property in Toronto back in July 2021 was trading $1.63 million. Like I shared with you, is now trading just over $1.52 million, which is a year-over-year drop of about 7.2% for an average detached property in Toronto. In York Region, we were trading around $1.59 million for an average detached property July 2021, and into July 2022, an average detached property in York Region was trading just over $1.58 million, which is a slight drop of about 0.6% year over year. Anyways, I hope you found these numbers and stats useful. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to give me a call, send me a text, shoot me over a DM or an email. As always, be kind, everyone. Take care.